10:30, after 11 or 12.
So today we are, let me just for a brief second. Hold on, put your book. That's it. Okay. Now, but you gotta put it on, keep it on for just a minute, and then you're gonna take it off when I move you to your second location. Okay, so today we are doing, she gonna put it off. So today, good evening or good afternoon. My name is Crystal Nolen. I am here today, and we're trying to be as safe as far as our mouth coverings, our facial coverings, and we will be trying to social distance as we get further into the interview. But preliminary, it is Sunday, July the 19th, 2020. And the purpose of this interview is a family tree interview with cousin Susie Boykin. This is part one. And again, as I said, I am Crystal Nolen, also known as Chris Wrights 2000. We are here currently with my mother. Mother, can you put your baby down for 1 second? And so the people can see your face. Wave at the people. Look, very careful. But that's right. We're going to be careful. And look, wave at the people. Wave. Look. Wait, mama, look. Look there. Look. Yeah. Wave.
That's you over there.
That's correct. That's you as well. So can you tell the people what your name is?
Hello, I'm Mrs. Carolyn Nolen.
Yes. And this is my mother. She currently is, what is your situation?
I'm trying to get a jump until a couple of jobs until I can call it good.
Mm-hmm. And so currently Carolyn is suffering from dementia. And so, yeah, so that's what we just smile. We just keep on going. And so you don't want to keep your mouth covered. Let's see. Try this one more time. Let's see if this will work. Let's see. Let's count. 5, 10. Oh, she's good.
Yeah. This other one can't wait for a while.
I know that's right. So anyhow, so Mama, do you remember how cousin Susie is related to us?
Mm-hmm.
How?
I remember she worked in the gun department of the gun.
Well, no. So she actually didn't work in the gun department of the gun. Didn't. No. She worked at the shipyard though. And so shipyards are associated with munitions and guns. So I do see how my mother would have made that parallel. But my cousin Susie. So my mother got sick as a result of her stroke. She had a stroke on her 41st birthday. And so that kind of damaged her brain, and she began to have the effects of paranoid schizophrenia. And I was about 15 at the time, and I had a younger brother who was 2 years old. His name was Nolen. And so we went into foster care momentarily, and then they split us up, which petrified me. And so my cousin Susie, when cousin Susie comes out, she's going to explain to you how we're related. And so my cousin Susie took the initiative and was obedient to God. And she came and got my brother and I out of foster care until my mother came home from the hospital, and also until my older brother came home from penitentiary. And that's a whole nother story we'll talk about another time. But so cousin Susie brought my younger brother and myself in her home to live with her until my mother was able to get back on her feet from being hospitalized for her mental health. And so cousin Susie, oh, here she comes. Cousin Susie, she had to comb her hair and put some lipstick on because, you know, she's a nice, beautiful lady. So cousin Susie, I want you to come here and have a seat with us on the couch. So my cousin Susie used to operate the big crane that was at the midway, the bridge. Slide on in here, look closer to me, cousin Susie. Okay, there you go. And so we're recording. I've already started the recording, and I've explained to them. Carolyn and I just started off with some information. I explained to them that we are doing the family tree interview with cousin Susie Boykin. No S. Susie Boykin. No S. Susie Boykin. So my correction. and it's Sunday, July the 19th, right? This is just what we call a charting, right? So when I look back at the video, we'll know exactly what we were talking about, right?
And you don't spell Susie with a Z, it's an S.
It's an S. Oh, I made all types of mistakes, but this is why we have to get these things straight so that the record can be correct, right? So Susie Boykin. There you go.
Do I go for my maiden name or for my married name?
It's whatever you would like. We can talk about all of that. So we'll say, we'll talk for an hour or as long as you would like, as long as you're comfortable. I'm gonna move my mom over here so that we can actually get some questions done, and she can relax with her baby, right?
Yeah.
So come on, Mom.
I'm getting ready to ask again whose baby is that?
Yeah.
So I gotta get used to Carolyn that baby.
So Mama, I'm gonna have you sit over here. Come on. And then we're gonna try to social distance a little bit, and then we're gonna get into this interview. Watch that cord. Watch that cord. Okay, there you go. Now turn to sit here for me, darling. Yes, ma'am. And then you make yourself comfortable there. And then Cousin Susie and I, and your papers are there, Cousin Susie. And so I want you to, I have this board here. Let me get this. So like I said, we're already recording. And my goal is that we will have this and be able to put it online so that our family members. Now, you know what? So we did a test on the visual. I'm not sure if the audio was on, so I'm glad I unmuted that. Let's see. Let me double check. So I wasn't muted there, so it should have captured that. Okay, so
what is Daddy doing to you coming with it?
So we're here to talk about the family, and as I said, you may hear my mother off screen now, interjecting. She has dementia, so sometimes she may be really clear, and sometimes she might not. We're just gonna move along with the production because that's real life, and that is what we are dealing with currently in my immediate part of the
Why are you
family.
taking pictures?
So this is a video.
Oh.
So everything that we're doing right now is going to be recorded.
Yeah, but no pictures.
I can take pictures later.
That's all right.
Yes,
I just asked. I don't, I'm not
okay.
insisting that you have.
Yes, ma'am.
That's why I put on lipstick. I should have asked you first.
Well, that's okay. You want your lipstick on, and if you feel, look, and if you want to, you can take your mask off while you're talking. It is kind of odd to be talking with the mask on, but I'm doing this for you and my mom,
well,
right?
We shouldn't go together, so you're supposed to wear your mask.
That's correct. So you are So and then I put this here, this information here. Did I spell this correctly, Cousin Susan?
Yeah, either way they spell. I don't know how they spell it. BHAUG. A, you put the A here.
Right, because remember on that paper that you showed me the other day, back in the 1800s, sometimes we got listed in the paperwork with that A missing.
Okay, but put an A there and just let that one go without an A.
Right, that's correct. So sometimes what families will find when they are looking for their the records of their ancestors is that the spelling of the name has been changed. That can be due to many reasons. Sometimes the person given the information, unfortunately we do know about the history of for a long time it was illegal to educate African Americans. And so a lot of us could not, that's right, blacks, that's right. So a lot of us could not even really write our own name.
That's right.
Or if we could, we had to pretend like we couldn't.
That's right.
And then, or the person that's taking the information, the clerk at the office that you have to register with, or the person that is looking at this document, because all white people weren't very literate either, right? Okay. So if you were white and you weren't very wealthy, more than likely you were illiterate as well.
He was.
They
were.
Right.
They were.
Right. And so the person taking the information could have written the information down wrong, right? For whatever reasons. And so that's why when you're looking to match up with the family that possibly you've been separated with, you have to look at variations of the spelling.
That's right.
Because the name is not spelled exactly the same does not mean that you're not connected DNA wise and ancestry wise. So Cousin Susie, I don't want to do a lot of talking, but I do want to kind of I do want to ask you a question to get you into the flow of your conversation. You've been talking about this family tree project for a while. You've been collecting information
since in the 80s.
Right. And so what gave you the desire to do that? We'll start with that.
I wanted to know because no one had ever told me. I don't know if my sisters knew it. I don't believe they did. I'm the only one that want to deviate into the history of the family.
Yes, ma'am.
And sister family.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so my mother had never told me because I was separated her when I was about 6 or 7.
Okay.
So she never told me.
So what was the reason for the separation?
The reason,
For you being separated from your mom at 6 or 7,
oh,
since you
she
just
had,
brought
a,
that
she
up.
had a mental problem.
Okay, so we have maybe possibly a history of mental illness in our family.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Strokes and mental illness, sometimes the structures of the brain are not strong. Right. And so sometimes that does signify linkage.
Yeah.
So what would you say her mental issues were? Do you remember?
No one ever talked about it to me, so I don't really know, but I believe it's family, husband,
and so
that's my belief.
Right. And so your mother, so now let's be clear. So you are my cousin Susie, and people say, oh, she's an older cousin, right? So let's explain the lineage. Your mother's name was?
Betty Sue Baughm.
Okay.
She married Jordan Bailey in Portsmouth, Virginia. She was from North Carolina.
Okay. What part of North Carolina?
She was from Woodland, North Carolina.
Woodland, North Carolina. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right.
And she had four sisters.
Okay.
Oh. The oldest one was Ida.
Okay. I'm gonna write while you're talking. Okay. So Betty Sue. Okay.
Born. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Ida was the oldest.
Sister Ida was the oldest. Okay. And that was my grandmother. Is that right?
Your grandmother. Yeah.
My great grandmother. That's my grandfather's mother. Yeah. My mama, daddy. My mother Curly, who's sitting there. Right. Her daddy was Garney Parker.
That's right.
And then Garney Parker's mother was Ida.
Ida, that's right.
Your mother's sister.
That's right.
Okay, we got that far. Okay, all right. And then who else you want to tell me about?
She had a sister named Mary. I don't know how old Mary was, but I put Mary up there next to Ida because I don't know.
Okay, but Ida was the oldest. Mm-hmm. You got that? Okay, yes, ma'am.
Okay, then Mary.
Yes,
then
ma'am.
Nancy.
Okay.
I got it wrong. I think Penny. Penny, then
Penny. Mm-hmm. Penny and then Nancy. Okay, mm-hmm. Gotcha. Okay.
That's the Penny. Nancy was next to my mother.
Okay. And then your mama came.
Is that four sister? My mother came last. She was the last sister.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, gotcha. So then Betty Sue's here. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yes, you got Ida, we got Mary, we got Penny, we got Nancy, and we got Betty Sue.
Yeah.
Yes.
Then we got Jim and John. I don't know.
Jim and
John.
And John. Those were the brothers.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if they were anymore or not.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay, so we have a nice foundation for the Baughms and Baughms for the Baughms. Okay, Baughms. I'm taking out a syllable. That's right, because Baughm is spelled another way. So Baughms. We have a nice foundation for the Baughms in Woodland, North Carolina. And then this is circa about your mom was born. When do you think?
1902.
1902.
Mm-hmm.
So we can safely assume that my grandmother, great Aunt Mary, 1902. Mm-hmm. Okay. So that means the older brothers and the older siblings, they were in the 19th century, 1800s. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we're going.
They were in the 1800s, yeah.
Yes.
I'm going here and mixing it up.
While you looking for your picture, do you mind if I show this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So while Cousin Susie is looking for her documentation, which she has some great files, she is a historian. She's the family historian. In addition to being a pioneer and a forerunner in our area as far as her occupation. Like I said, she operated this humongous shipyard crane from a time when I was a young girl, 15, trying to be grown. And I was in awe about that. And every time we drove through the tunnel, over the bridge, and everybody saw that big crane, I always said, my cousin, that's her crane. So that was a big thing. Here are some images of Cousin Susie chronology that was put together for her. The picture here is her at age 18, and she has the notation that was her real hair, right? And then at age 40, again with her own hair, and then at age 28, I don't have my glasses on. I might be mixing these stages up. Yeah, and it's 28, right? Look at that. And then she makes the notation again with her own hair. And then down here, she has a wig on, right? Because we are versatile. We women and men, they wear wigs too. Don't even try, man. And then we have a picture here at age 40, and she says she has a wig on there, right? Either way, we know real beauty comes from within, but it's blessed to have both of them because it is a blessing. We'll say. So.
And could you put the mother? When you gonna put the mother? That mother name was Amanda.
Okay.
Futurell.
Amanda Futrell. Mm-hmm. So we have been speaking about. So now we have established a lineage, a marital lineage with the Futrell families, and that's spelled Futrell. And so Amanda was the mother, Amanda Futrell, and husband Gabriel. So this takes us back to, I guess, our contemporary, beginning of our contemporary bloodline. Not the beginning, but this is the part we definitely can have validated. So also in some of the documentation that Cousin Susie has shared with me, I'm going to remove this for a few minutes because it's hot, and then we'll switch up. Yeah, there you are. So in the documentation that Cousin Susie has shared with me, the county clerk at that time, when Cousin Susie began her research in the 80s, sent her back a wonderful documentation, and I'm going to try to attach that to a file so that those of you who are viewing this interview on the internet can also see that file for yourself. But this family tree, this digital family tree, is a work in progress, so you're going to have to bear with us. But the clerk verified that the Futrell family lived on that block in several different residences. So, of course, close proximity. People maybe weren't traveling as much as back then. So your neighbors, you're getting to know their children, you're going up with their children. That happens today. And so Amanda Futrell and Gabriel Baugham became married, and they gave birth to the children who became who are Cousin Susie's mom, my great grandmother. And so Cousin Susie has that information. So Cousin Susie, what you told me a story before about some the situation with someone going to a mental hospital. Is that goes back to your mom?
That goes back to Betty Sue. Her sister Nancy had put in the nursing home. I don't know if she was that disabled because I was just about 6 years old.
Right. Okay.
I don't know if she that they wasn't, because they had conflicts between them.
Okay.
Nancy didn't like Betty Sue, and Betty Sue didn't like Nancy, and it was confusing to me. I never understood it.
Right.
I don't think anybody really understood it.
Right. And so, did you and Aunt Nancy ever have an opportunity to talk about that as adults? Or, when you became grown, did she ever tell you and Aunt Nancy?
Oh, no, she never told me. She always asked me, she always said, "You my baby sister's daughter, ain't you?" And I would look at her. And she said, you my baby sister's daughter. And I would see, that's all she would say to me.
Yeah. But so what about, so what do you remember about my great grandma Ida?
She was a strict person.
Mm-hmm.
She was how can I say that? because I never really thought about her disposition.
Mm-hmm.
But she didn't ever teach me nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I was with her, I was about maybe 8 years old or something. And could never go outside. You can't play with no other children. No other children all come in your yard. You can go in no other children's yard, but not bring
I
nobody
wonder
home.
why. I heard we kind of like, I wonder why. Is that like a seclusion thing or something?
It must be because Aunt Lily
Uh-huh.
told me that I had lost something. I won't put that in the paper because I don't know.
Right.
But Lily told me that I had lost her mind at one time. She didn't say what year or the cause or nothing.
Uh-huh.
She just told me that her mom had lost her mind and I had lost her mind one time.
Uh-huh. Wow.
So I never thought about it no more. She told me that. I just took it for granted, I think.
Right.
I didn't know myself because I was, how old was I? Well, she told me that maybe I was 8 or 9 years old.
Okay. And you were born when, Cousin Susie?
I was born in 1932.
1932. Okay.
Mhm.
What's your actual birthday? What time of year?
It's
What month is that?
October the 21st,
October the 21st, 1932.
1931.
1931.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Wow. Okay. Very nice. Very nice. Okay. So that puts you at what age now? This October, you'll be turning
This October, I'll be 89.
89. That's
Mhm.
magnificent.
Mhm.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So
But I got my sister just passed. That was 98, I believe.
that was, we went to the
That
funeral
was,
in Richmond.
This one right here.
Right.
You never saw her, did you?
Not in, no, ma'am, no.
Mhm.
And
This
this
is my
was,
oldest sister.
Y'all got
and what was her
the
name?
famous one.
Willie Mae.
Willie Mae.
She named after a cousin named Cousin Willie.
Okay. And so we went to her funeral in Richmond. That was the funeral we went to in Richmond.
Yeah,
Yes, yes. And we have lots of family in Richmond. And her last name, she married into the family. What was her husband's last name? What's her last name when she passed?
Who that?
Your sister.
Freeman.
Freeman, that's right. So a lot of the Freemans in Richmond are related to us.
Yeah.
They have a really large family
Yeah,
in Richmond. That's right.
I think it's 9 of them.
9. Oh yeah.
Sherry. I mean, not Sherry. Selma.
Uh-huh.
No, it's Juanita, Selma, Jeanette, and Sherry.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
So now, so we talk about Aunt Betty Sue, great Aunt Betty Sue,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
How many siblings do you have?
How many children did I have?
No, your brothers and sisters.
Oh, it was 6 of us.
6 of you all.
So it was 5, but then other than myself.
Okay.
I was
Okay.
like 6.
How many boys? How many girls?
3 boys and 3 girls.
And what are your sisters and brothers' names?
My older sister Willie Mae.
Mm-hmm.
I got a sister named Katie,
Okay.
but I can't put them in order because I don't know when they were born.
That's
when
right.
they were
Cousin,
born.
and cousin Katie passed year before last.
Year
I
before
think.
last,
That's
yeah.
correct. Mm-hmm.
Then I have a brother named Jordan Bailey,
Jordan Bailey,
Leon, and Edward.
and Edward. Okay. All right. And cousin Katie, she married Norman Scott.
Norman Scott.
She's married to Norman Scott.
Yeah.
And he passed before her. He
Before.
deceased before her, and then
That's
she
right.
deceased just this past year. Yes. Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
And then cousin Katie had Cynthia.
She didn't have
But,
Cynthia.
right, but she adopted Cynthia. Cynthia was her husband's sister's child. Uh-huh.
Mhm.
And so then Lori, Travis was also, that was Brother Scott.
That was Cynthia's brother and sister. Her mama had
Okay.
who you said, Lori?
No, Travis, Norman.
Travis.
Norman.
Norman didn't. She and Katie didn't have no children.
Okay. But then Norman, they're added to our family just through love lineage.
Yeah,
right.
through Cynthia. Don't ever mention that to Cynthia because she thinks she knows the difference, but she don't have no relatives. She don't have no relatives passed away.
Oh,
too.
okay. I understand.
Mhm.
I understand. Okay. So now, well, let's come back to this end. Let's see what you have there.
I'm trying to get on Nancy's name, but I see I didn't have no birthday for Nancy.
Okay.
She born 18 something.
So you have that John was born in 1879,
Mm-hmm.
James in 1882.
Mm-hmm.
Great Grandma Ida is 1890,
Mm-hmm.
Addie 1896, Mary 1899,
Mm-hmm.
and then Nancy, we're not sure about the blank there, but 1800, and then Aunt Betty Sue, great Aunt Betty Sue, 1902.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Okay. That's some fantastic information you have there.
Mm-hmm.
And
But
so,
I'm not sure about if they got James right because I heard Aunt Nancy say, oh, he was born before Betty Sue.
okay,
So I don't know if that's Aunt Nancy's birthday that they got up there. Well, that's come from the archives, so the archives should have it right, right?
should be correct. Yes,
Yeah,
yes. We will.
So, well,
We will
yeah,
hope.
see,
And let's
yeah.
see. I got this. What we took the other day. This picture here. Let me see if I can recall this. Pull this information up. Let's see. Okay, so according to that archive that we had that you let me take a picture of the other day, we have Baughan,
Gabriel.
and they said they did add to make the notation that sometimes he went by Henry.
Yeah, somebody went by Henry, but I don't know who Henry was.
And then Amanda went by Mandy sometimes. And so
Well, that was Amanda. That was her name, Amanda.
Right, Amanda, right. So let's see, we have
got Henry and Gabriel mixed up some kind of way. They don't know, or did they say Gabriel married Amanda?
That's correct.
Well, I don't know where Henry came in at.
So it says that let's see, Henry Baughan, and they have in this record the spelling is Baughn, comma Gabe, short for Gabriel Black, 63 years old, born October 1836 in North Carolina. And then that his wife was Mandy, and she was 37 years old. She was born on May 1863 in North Carolina. And then his son-in-law was John T. He was 21 years old, and he was born May 1879 in North Carolina. And these are records that came from the Kirby Township, June the 21st, 1900. This was a census document from the 1900s in Northampton County, North Carolina. Yeah. So, and then further down, this is probably the TV mama. And then further down, we have a son, James W. He was 18 years old, and he was born May 1882 in North Carolina. Daughter Ida, she was 10 years old at the time. She was born March 1890 in North Carolina. And daughter Addie.
Addie, that's Penny.
Right, okay. Penny / Addie. That she was born 4 years. She was 4 years old. She was born February 1896 in North Carolina. And daughter Mary.
Mary must have came after Addie.
Mary came after Addie. She was 2 years old at the time of the census, and she was born October 1898. And then it goes down to saying the next household is living William Baughan, also spelled Baughn. They left out not with the A this time. And he was listed as Black, 16-year-old. He was born January 1884 in North Carolina. And then you have a John Futrell. So the Futrell's coming into the picture at this time. John
Futrell was Mary was who was Mary before she got married? Futrell.
Okay.
Amanda, I mean.
Okay.
So Futrell will be her in-law or some kind of way.
I think that's correct. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, some part of that Futrell family. Yeah. And they have him listed as Black, 47 years old. He was born in 1853 in North Carolina. And then Martha Futrell, Black, she was 43 years old, and she was born January 1857 in North Carolina. So there were two other Futrell families who lived as neighbors in this area. And also, this is from this documentation that Cousin Susie has from the county clerk, the Kirby Township. In the Northampton County, North Carolina marriage register is a record of let's see, I didn't get the corner of that document. I think it's in the stat that you have. Let me see if I can read it correctly. Because you gave me a picture of this. This one, I think it was another one too. It was one that was actually.
Look behind that one.
Okay. Oh, it's right here. It's this one. It's the second page of this one. Okay. No, that's not it. It looks like it though. But it says this is a marriage register. So it talks about that in January of 1880, that Henry Baugham was 25 years old, listed as colored, and Amanda Futrell was 21 years old, and they got married. And so also there's a notation at the bottom of the document that the county clerk made, and it reads, the 1900 census shows that gave Baughan, or Baughan, without the A, the spelling is without the A, and his wife Mandy has something. Let's see. I can't read this because this is too small. I don't have my glasses. Is it possibly in that stack over there?
No more records. I don't think so.
Because this is the paper that you had it in there. You gave me. You let me take a picture of it with my phone. It's gonna be on a big piece of paper. Yeah, this because it looks like this. See that one? Remember that when they had them dates on it? Okay. It's a printed paper.
I had paper, but honey, they haven't been through my paper so much wrong. I had destroyed my paper. I'm surprised they even have this.
It's not in there. But yeah, so anyway, this is just some additional information about the family. And if we can't find that document now, we will find it and make a copy of it and put it online. Okay. And so this is a very good place to start as far as trying to connect the dots with the family history.
Is that it?
This is it, yes. Okay. So this is a document that Cousin Susie sent off for in her research, her earlier research in the 80s.
Yeah, it's a part of it.
Okay. And so at the bottom,
all of this.
yes. Oh yes, she's got lots of information, lots of documentation. Okay. And so it reads at the bottom, in the 1900 census shows that Gabe Baughn and his wife Mandy have been married 20 years. This would indicate a marriage date of about 1800. The fact that they are living among Futrell families suggests that Mandy's maiden name could be Futrell. The marriage record above of January the 14th, 1880 shows a Henry Baugham, spelled Baugham, and Amanda Futrell, spelled Futrell. I'm not sure, this is a clerk's note, I'm not sure of Henry, but perhaps his other name is Gabriel, and he decided to use it later instead of the Henry. So that is just one of the pieces of information that Cousin Susie has acquired over her years of research. And this piece of information comes from the North Carolina Genealogy Society, and they are located in Raleigh, North Carolina. And this document was sent on the 30th of November, 1988. So that is very informative. Cousin Susie, what are some other stories that you remember about the family?
What you heard? They didn't talk about the family.
Didn't talk about them much.
You overheard it, whatever they were talking about when they talked about it.
Okay.
And that wasn't often.
Okay.
They didn't let you know nothing.
Okay. Oh, secretive, huh?
Secret, very secret.
As many families are, for whatever reasons, right? So now this document here that I have in my hand, it reads that we also looked at the 1880 census of the Northampton County in Kirby Township, where Gabe and Mandy were living in 1900s. And I want to make a note too. So even this is how spellings vary over time, because even in the same in the earlier document from the North Carolina Genealogy Society, they spell the township Kirby. In this document, Kerby. In this document, Kirby. So don't get stuck on the spelling of words and townships and locations where you're looking to locate your family, because for some reason these things may not always be spelled exactly the same, right? Doesn't mean that you're off base. So, but there's a note here that it says, it shows that Gabe and Mandy were living in Northampton County in 1900. They did not find Gabe there, although other Baughams and Futrells were living there. We also looked at the 1910 census index for North Carolina, reads the letter, but did not find Gabriel listed. We thought perhaps he had moved. So any further research would take more time and would have to be done by yourself. They're addressing Susie Boykin, or by a professional genealogist, and they have enclosed the list of professional genealogists. It's obvious by the 1900 census that Gabriel had another wife before Amanda, as he lists a son-in-law, John T. Baughan, perhaps a son to Gabriel, but a son-in-law to Amanda, as he lists a yeah, so that's that. I'm rereading the same line. Apologies. Perhaps the 1910 census index will show the family in Virginia. I know that the Virginia State Library and the North Carolina State Library have microfilm in North Carolina and Virginia census throughout 1910, and I'm not sure if the major library in Norfolk has copies or not. So this letter is from Ransom McBride, very helpful. And so also Cousin Susie has notes here where the library notes for Norfolk. So maybe we'll have to follow up on that sometime soon when the libraries and everything are open back to the public. And I'll see what I can do online with that, right? In addition to that information, let me just flash them this, Cousin Susie. So Cousin Susie, these are her personal notes she has that plotted her path along the way to finding this information. Also, she's got some information, some census information from Ancestry.com. And let me get my glasses. I'm gonna see if I can read a few of these names from this.
I stopped because I didn't have no help.
Right, because it's a tall order to backtrack.
It is,
and it's a lot. It involves a lot of running around. People think that the computer has solved all of these types of problems, but it has not.
That's right.
Because there's some places that are not put their records online.
That's right.
There's some records that are not going to be online for whatever reason. We don't know why, right? Because see, when we're tracing these ancestral records, these things are also connected to real estate and monies. And everybody don't want you to know your connection to real estate and money. Because we all know over time our families have lost a lot. A lot has been taken from them illegally.
That's right.
So some people don't want us to put the dots together to find out, because we'll find out that somebody else's family is living on our land and been doing that for a long time and owe us a lot of money and owe us some acreage and some horses and some cattle and all that stuff. So they don't want us to make that connection, right? But let me grab my glasses for a second.
Yeah. Girl, are you going to sleep?
Not yet.
No, not yet.
So now, before we go, Cousin Caesar, can I see the Ancestry.com piece of paper right there? I just want to call a few of those names. This one right here. I just want to see if I can call a few of these names here for those people that are going to be tuning in to this later on and maybe wondering if they are related to us, right? Oh,
you can see
that is so hard. It is very
I
fine.
wonder why they send that out.
Somebody have to get a magnifying glass.
If you can see it then.
Farm. So I do see. I can't. I'm studying here. Amanda, this Gabriel, and then they have another spelling here where someone has inverted the U in the name and turned it to an N. See how things happen over time with written records and people trying to write things down. And then this record from Ancestry.com, they have Gabriel and Amanda's last name spelled BANGHAM, right? And so that's a very unusual spelling because we're usually dealing with the U in that part of the name. But I do see some people listed here in the family as farm laborers, And I see that this notation has that they worked on a family farm, a home farm or a family farm. So that's very interesting. They must have been working their own land. Possibly could have been sharecropping, but that would seem like a different notation to me. The rest of this is very difficult to decipher. So I'm going to find out if I can go on the internet myself and try to find a better copy of this for the next meeting that we have. So now, Cousin Susie, as we bring this recording to a close, what are your thoughts? Where are we having some gaps? What would you like to address?
Can you be a little more specific? Give me.
So with what you have there, you've done a fantastic job. We're beginning to get this on recording. What are your goals from us working together? What would you like to see as a result of this?
What would be nice?
I like to see.
One
thing I want to know if there are any living relatives.
That's a very good question.
Yeah.
That's very good. That we've kind of lost contact with.
Lost contact with, or never contacted,
Right, yes.
and that's living in North Carolina.
Right.
I doubt if there's anybody from 1800.
But you know what, we have to look into that.
Yeah.
We really got to look into that.
Yeah.
And you know what, the one thing that I'm going to do when I get home is I'm going to see if I can access the yellow pages or the current directory in Woodland, North Carolina, and I'm going to go straight to the bees and see if I can find some Baughams.
Okay.
Right? And that's a place for us to start.
Yeah.
Maybe maybe once this COVID thing is back under control, maybe we can take a day trip up there to that area to look around. So, and then I know that you've been wanting to have a physical family tree, right? So we want to do something where the next time we get together, we can have something that everybody can look at and say, these people, they're right?
I want to know really, what kind of Indians and what kind of
Portuguese.
Portuguese. I want to know what part of Indian, what part of the Portuguese we from.
Right.
Because I got some naughty hair.
Right. That's right. We have
if we just get called an emergency, they can step out of his way and let him know he wants gas.
I don't know right now. She's in her own space right now. Yeah. But yes, you're right. So the lineage supposedly is that we have Portuguese in our family and Native American, right? Yeah. Native American or Indian. That's not a correct term, but Native American.
Yeah.
So we don't know what tribe.
That's right.
Of Native American, Native people, and
they told us
right. Do we know a tribe? Okay.
No, I can't think of it.
So we're not clear if our African bloodline, how far back that is, because so now there were people that were in before that. Well, supposedly 1619 is the first documented slave ship here, but that's not true because the Spanish and the Portuguese, we just talked about that, right? Spanish and the Portuguese were running slave ships up and through this area where we're sitting actually in Portsmouth, Virginia, as we speak. This is where we're doing this interview from, and that's a very historic area itself. But the Portuguese were running slave ships in the 1500s, late 1500s here also, but predating the slave trade. Africans came and traveled peacefully and exchanged and lived here on this continent with Native people. And they have relics and artifacts from Africa that they found here that date back to the 800s, 800 AD in Africa. So there have been Africans that came in peace and came and traveled, and some of them settled here. So when we talk about black people in America, now all of us came over as in the slave trade. Some of our families were already here and established, but that's a part of history they don't want you to really explore as well, right? Because then again, that ties you to ownership of the land and the resources there, right? It makes you a direct descendant of that wealth, which we are descendants of that wealth. It has not necessarily manifested itself the way that it has manifested itself, right?
I know.
But so, Cousin Susie, as we come to a close with this particular recording, we do have a plan to do this again, right? And we have broken bread. Cousin Susie presented us with a wonderful meal today that began this what we say honoring of our ancestors and trying to put together our family record, because these records have been tossed and strewn across as if we're not important and our families are not important, and we are important and our families are important. And it's important for you to know where you come from, so you don't go out to the club or to the beach meeting your cousins and dating your cousins, right? Because you don't know who they are. And you're like, ooh, he nice. I feel like I've been knowing him forever. You probably have, because it might be your cousin. So we got to make sure we're not dating in our families. We need to know where our families come from. We need to know this history is important. Most Caucasians can sit down with you, and Latino people can sit down with you, and they can tell you their generations that go back hundreds of years. And they know this stuff like the back of their hand, but we don't. We don't. Too often we don't. And so that's where we're trying to level up with our family and bring ourselves up to speed. And then we have wisdom and knowledge that we have to appreciate and honor, right? And so I want to thank you, Cousin Susie, for the opportunity to share this story and for us to collaborate on what we feel in our minds and what we want to do for our family and the generation coming behind us. And let me tell you something about this too. So some of us have this attitude because we've been devalued and demarginalized for so long. We have this attitude where me know my family, it really don't matter. It's no big deal. Let me tell you, when you go to a doctor and the doctor asks you for your family history, the more information you can provide, the quicker they can get to a true and possible diagnosis for you. So you do need to know the health concerns and the health issues of your greats, 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 and greats. You do. It's important. We've been convinced, and because the world has devalued us, it don't matter, it really doesn't matter, but it does. And we should be able to pass that down to our next generation, right? We say Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter got to matter in our homes, with our information, with what we put in our heads, and what we consume and believe about ourselves, right? And we are very dignified people.
Yes, it matters.
It matters.
I've been to the doctor so many times, they ask you this, and you don't know
and
this.
you don't
know that, and you don't know nothing. Well, where did you come from? You don't know that either.
Yeah.
Well,
So it's
embarrassing.
It is. And we can do better. When we can do better, we should do better. And we're going to do better, right? And Cousin Susie has been pushing and working on this thing. And I applaud all the other family historians out there that are doing the same thing for their families, right? I applaud you all.
I hope that we can come to some kind of conclusion before I pass this fast.
And I understand that, because time is something that continually goes on. And sometimes we have to readjust our priorities. We put importance on the wrong thing. And we got to see this TV show. And we got to talk to this person. And we got to check this Facebook. And we have to be involved in this and that and the third, where sometimes we need to shift that focus and put it on something else, right? And spend time, because time is constantly running out. We're not in this flesh and blood is not immortal. It will pass, it will fade. And in this world we living in, sometimes the young go before the old, right? So it's no guarantee. I'm in a rush too, right? Because my time can be counting out before yours counting down. But we definitely must understand the importance of talking to our elders and absorbing everything that they have and recording. We have all of these devices. We record frivolous things that don't even matter 10 years later. You ain't gonna care about Janet Jackson at that concert or whatever picture you got there. But we need to know about our families, and we need to know about our elders. And I want and time is important. Time is one of the most valuable resources that you have. You were given some time when you came out your mama's womb. You got to use it wisely, whatever you have, because there's somebody else that wish they could have had another day, and in those final moments of their life, you have that moment that your life flashes before you and you realize some things were frivolous and then some things were important.
All
And
right.
so we're going to take a grasp on that. And hopefully that will encourage other families to also do the research, talk to your elders while we are here in this situation of being at home and being self-quarantined. We can have these little snatches of time to use our technology and record these stories. So Cousin Susan, I love you. I'm sending you mwah, mwah, mwah,
Okay.
mwah,
Me too.
mwah, mwah. And Mama,
Yeah.
thank you so much. Mama and the baby. We can't forget about Mama and the baby.
That's
Right? Okay. And thank you all. And we look forward to doing this again.
Yeah.
All right.
Very
So,
well said.
You look,
Good.
yes, you did a good job and you look fantastic. Okay, let me get out of here. And let me stop recording. And let's end it there. Okay. And then we're going to do this.